Section 2 of A General History of the Pirates by Charles Johnson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Introduction, Part 2. Señor Iago de la Vega, February 20th. A letter from His Excellency Sir Nicholas Laws, our Governor, to the Alcaldes of Trinidado on Cuba, dated the 26th of January, 1721-22. Gentlemen, the frequent depredations, robberies, and other acts of hostility which have been committed on the King, my royal master's subjects, by a parcel of banditti who pretend to have commissions from you, and in reality are sheltered under your government, is the occasion of my sending the bearer Captain Chamberlain, commander of His Majesty's Snow Happy, to demand satisfaction of you for so many notorious robberies which your people have lately committed on the King's subjects of this island, particularly by those traitors, Nicholas Brown and Christopher Winter, to whom you have given protection. Such proceedings as these are not only a breach of the law of nations, but must appear to the world of a very extraordinary nature, when considered that the subjects of a prince in amity and friendship with another should give countenance and encourage such vile practices. I confess I have had long patience, and declined using any violent measures to obtain satisfaction, hoping the cessation of arms, so happily concluded upon between our respective sovereigns, would have put an effectual stop to those disorders. But on the contrary, I now find the port of Trinidado a receptacle to villains of all nations. I do therefore think fit to acquaint you and assure you in the King my master's name, that if I do meet with any of your rogues for the future upon the coast of this island, I will order them to be hanged directly without mercy. And I expect and demand of you to make ample restitution to Captain Chamberlain or all the negroes which the said Brown and Winter have lately taken off from the north side of this island, and also of such sloops and other effects as they have been taken and robbed of since the cessation of arms, and that you will deliver up to the bearer such English men as now detained or otherwise remain at Trinidado, and also expect you will hereafter forbear granting any commissions or suffer any such notorious villains to be equipped and fitted out from your port. Otherwise, you may depend upon it, those that I can meet with shall be esteemed pirates, and treated as such, of which I thought proper to give you notice, and am, etc. A letter from Mr. Joseph Laws, Lieutenant of His Majesty's ship Happy Snow, to the Alcaldes of Trinidado. Gentlemen, I am sent by Commodore Vernon, Commander-in-Chief of all His Majesty's ships in the West Indies, to demand in the King our master's name all the vessels with their effects, etc., and also the negroes taken from Jamaica since the cessation of arms, likewise all Englishmen now detained or otherwise remaining in your port of Trinidado, particularly Nicholas Brown and Christopher Winter, both of them being traitors, pirates, and common enemies to all nations. And the said Commodore hath ordered me to acquaint you that he is surprised that the subjects of a prince in amity and friendship with another should give countenance to such notorious villains. In expectation of your immediate compliance, I am, gentlemen, off the river Trinidado, February 8th, 1720, your humble servant Joseph Laws. The answer of the Alcaldes of Trinidado to Mr. Laws's letter. Captain Laws, in answer to yours, this serves to acquaint you that neither in this city nor port are there any negroes or vessels which have been taken at your island of Jamaica, nor on that coast since the cessation of arms, and what vessels have been taken since that time have been for trading in an unlawful commerce on this coast. And as for those English fugitives you mention, they are here as other subjects of our Lord the King, being brought voluntarily to our holy Catholic faith, and have received the water of baptism. But if they should prove rogues, and should not comply in their duty, in which they are bound at present, then they shall be chastised according to the ordinances of our King, whom God preserve. And we beg you will weigh anchor as soon as possible, and leave this port and its coasts, because upon no account you shall be suffered to trade or anything else, for we are resolved not to admit thereof. God preserve you, we kiss your hand. Trinidado, February 8th, 1722. Signed, Hieronimo de Fuentes, Benete Alfonso del Manzano. Mr. Law's reply to the alcade's letter. Gentlemen, your refusing to deliver up the subjects of the king my master is somewhat surprising, it being in a time of peace, and the detaining them consequently against the law of nations, notwithstanding your trifling pretence, for which you have no foundation but to forge an excuse, to prevent my making any inquiry into the truth of the facts I have alleged in my former. I must tell you my resolutions are to stay on the coast till I have made reprisals, and should I meet any vessels belonging to your port, I shall not treat them as the subjects of the crown of Spain, but as pirates, finding it a part of your religion in this place to protect such villains. Off the river Trinidado, February 8, 1720. Your humble servant, Joseph Laws. The answer of one of the alcades to Mr. Law's reply. Captain Laws. You may assure yourself I will never be wanting in the duty of my post. The prisoners that are here are not in prison, but only kept here to be sent to the governor of the Havana. If you, as you say, command at sea, I command on shore. If you treat the Spaniards you should happen to take as pirates, I will do the same by every one of your people I can take up. I will not be wanting to good manners, if you will do the same. I can likewise act the soldier, if any occasion should offer that way, for I have very good people here for that purpose. If you pretend anything else, you may execute it on this coast. God preserve you. I kiss your hand. Trinidado, February 20th, 1720. Signed, Benete Alfonso del Manzano. The last advices we have received from our plantations in America, dated June 9th, 1724, gives us the following account. Videlice, that Captain Jones, in the ship John and Mary, on the 5th of the said month, met with, near the Capes of Virginia, a Spanish guard del coast, commanded by one Don Benito, said to be commissioned by the governor of Cuba. She was manned with 60 Spaniards, 18 French men, and 18 English, and had an English captain as well as Spanish, one Richard Holland, who formerly belonged to the Suffolk man of war, which he deserted at Naples and took shelter in a convent. He served on board the Spanish fleet under Admiral Camac in the war in the Mediterranean, and after the cessation of arms with Spain, settled with several of his countrymen, Irish, in the Spanish West Indies. This guard del coast made prize of Captain Jones's ship, and kept possession of her from 5th to the 8th, during which time she took also the prudent Hannah of Boston, Thomas Mousel, master, and the Dolphin of Topsham, Theodore Bear, master, both laden and bound for Virginia. The former they sent away together with 3 men and the mate, under the command of a Spanish officer and crew, the same day she was taken. The latter they carried off with them, putting the master and all the crew aboard Captain Jones's ship. They plundered Captain Jones of 36 men slaves, some gold dust, all his clothes, 4 great guns and small arms, and about 400 gallons of rum, besides his provisions and stores, computed in all to 1,500 pounds sterling. End of section 2, read by Sandra, near Montreal, 2023.